afternoon, chosen ones, and welcome back to another episode of Things You Should Consider podcast. I am your host, Prophetic, and welcome to today's episode. So, per usual, I've been receiving downloads. Now, I will say, the downloads have been kind of sparse over the past, week and a half or so. And I think that is because right now God is wanting us to kind of just sit in solitude or the stillness of what's happening right now, because what is happening right now is ascension. If you have noticed that it's difficult for you or people to relate to you or understand what you're saying right now in this current moment, it is because you are going through this ascension process. This is just another one of those, those level up moments like we've been having. We've been experiencing like a rapid ascension for most of 2024, those of you who are chosen. It's like you're awakening at a faster pace. Like every time you turn around, you're coming to a new revelation or a new understanding, or you have new knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of certain experiences, right? And this is because this is a part of the ascension, and this is what I heard this morning. So you're going to notice that things that were hidden before, you can clearly see now, right? And this can be a little bit disheartening because you thought you were able to. I know a lot of you talk about being able to see spirits and the spirits that are operating through people and things like that. And as a matter of fact, I just had a conversation this morning with a friend of mine about that. But it's like new level, new devil, new levels, new devils. And because of that fact, you're interpreting or you're seeing these new devils that are trying to pull you back into old cycles that you weren't able to interpret before, because you've risen above certain things, right? So God basically is asking you right now, what he's asking, or what is required right now is for you to just kind of just sit back and be quiet. Like words aren't even required in these moments right now. A lot of the things that people are going through or experiencing right now, you're kind of sitting back and you're looking at it from a perspective of like, dang, like, really? Like, don't you know better? Why are you still experiencing this? Why are you still having to go through this? At your big grown age, why are you still, worried about this and that? You know what I mean? Things that are worldly, things that are fleshly is what I mean when I'm talking about the experiences that you're viewing from this new perspective that you're having. It's almost like I said, it's because you've risen above. This is the part of ascension. You've risen above certain situations. They can't put you back. Like these spirits or the enemy can't put you back where he wants you to be, and that is in those old cycles, stuck repeating cycles, repeating the same lessons, repeating, like, you know what I mean? It's difficult for you to access the gifts that God has for you when you're having to repeat cycles or repeat lessons over and over again, because it's almost difficult to discern that you're in a cycle or you're stuck in a loop. And the reason why we get stuck in loops and cycles sometimes is because we have our own agenda. And this is a part of, God gave me a word about Matthew 5:24 the other day about, my ways are not your ways. You know what I mean? Not a word, but, he just led me to that scripture. And he said, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are higher than your thoughts. Right, true. And because of that, we have to remember that we're still human. We're still flesh. Certain members of the body have higher or more elevated spiritual gifts than others. So it would be wise for you not to consider yourself wise, right? Just remember that your gifts come from God. So you're not really above, you are set apart, right? You're no different than anybody else, but you are set apart. But we're still human. We're still having this human experience, right? We haven't elevated to where God is yet. We haven't elevated to where Yeshua is yet. We haven't had that ability yet. Yes, we have like certain gifts, or there's certain aspects of us that are able or capable of elevating to certain higher degrees, but we haven't elevated to the point where, you know, none of us are going to elevate to the point where we have control, total and complete control, the way that God does. That's not going to happen. God is the dominion forever and ever, right? The glory, the power, you know what I mean, forever and ever. So He has given us a power, but it's up to us to unravel the mysteries of the gospel so that we can find that power for ourselves. And this is the reason why your spirit has elevated, or you're continuing to elevate, or have this rapid ascension, is because you have been unraveling the mysteries of the gospel. But sometimes, again, like I said, it's easy to get stuck in a loop and the reason why you can get stuck in a loop is because sometimes we have our own agenda. You know what I mean? We don't always follow, or we're not always as obedient as being obedient as we think we are. For instance, I won't say any names, but there's a YouTube channel that has been popping up in my feed lately, and because sometimes I watch Prophetic Guidance, of course, and there are a few that I have that are, you know, I consider my favorites, or I consider their words to resonate closely to what my timeline is, or what's happening in my life right now. So I won't say who those are right now either, but there is one that I'm not familiar with that just started popping up in my feed randomly. And the reason why is because, of course, they're using certain titles or tags to get into people's feeds, right? Especially if you watch, a certain type of video, then of course similar videos are going to pop up, okay? But this particular person, their message is always the same, and it always has something to do with, it has like the message or the title has a negative connotation to it, and it's just kind of off-putting because you can see the spirit on people. So I know when I see this person pop up in my feed, I know why they're doing this. They're not doing this specifically for the message that they have, like a specific message that they have to give to God's people, because the messages are always the same. They always have the same theme, right? And this person is basically doing this to, for monetary gain, of course, or to, gather a large following, and then people don't see this because they are stuck in the loop. So it perpetuates that cycle, that they're stuck in, right? Because that person's message is always the same. So they're going to this person's page and they're listening to the same thing every day. So it kind of it gives this, again, it perpetuates this message in your mind where you're feeling like there's some confirmation to it, but again, you can get stuck in that cycle by listening to the same thing over and over and over again, right? Which also hinders your healing to a certain degree as well. And then it also creates this complex in your mind where you're thinking, you could think that you're better than everybody, or you're thinking that everybody is out to get you, or you know what I mean? It creates a complex, which is also damaging. So it's doing more harm than it is good. So that's why it's important to make sure that you are discerning the spirits that you're listening to, especially on YouTube, and be sure that you are getting the messages or the downloads that you're receiving. You're making sure that it resonates with what God told you, because God is going to speak directly to you, and it's not necessarily going to be through a person. If you're receiving prophetic guidance and you're listening to prophetic already told me something, you know what I mean? Now, in the past, I have had to grow through this, because in the past, there were times where I would listen to messages, and I've been on the other side of the spectrum as well, as far as like listening to tarot. I've done that in the past, but I had to be delivered from that, of course. And thank God for that. Thank God for, delivering me from the pit. But even when I was delivered from that, and I came, I crossed over and I started getting into my Bible more and reading more, and listening to God and learning to discern the voice of God or the voice of the Holy Spirit over, everybody else or whatever else that I'm hearing. I had to kind of tune everybody out. But there was a point where I was listening to that as a means of like, okay, this is what I should be doing. You know what I mean? So I had to grow to get to this point where I am right now, where I have been obedient to what God is saying to me, and I can tell when it's God giving me guidance, right? And of course, before I get online and share these messages with you, I pray over them before I share them with you as well, so that I can ensure that the messages that I am giving or putting out there into the world, they are aligned correctly with what I am experiencing, because I know in the body we all have similar experiences. So there's going to be someone who's going to resonate with exactly what I'm saying on some level. It may not be exactly what I'm going through, but the interpretation of the messages are different for everybody. And then there are some times when the messages do align perfectly, But again, you should definitely be taking everything that you are hearing from these people or from whoever's prophetic guidance you're receiving. Take it back to the Lord. Even what you hear in your mind, pray over that. You know what I mean? To ensure that what you're hearing is correct. Okay? So that's just that. A few messages that I've heard over the past couple of days that I want to share with you all. Just grab my Twitter notes here, because I am on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, be sure that you get on, or what is now formerly known as Twitter is called X, but I am on that platform as Prophetic Bay, and I share tweets throughout the day that are aligned with what I'm hearing, with the thoughts that I'm hearing, and I feel like excuse me, it's important for me to share that information through that platform. So I've gathered quite a few followers on that platform since I've been on it, which is very ironic. Let's see here. And again, also, I want to say too, some of the prophetic guidance that is being shared is toxic. It's toxic. That's why, excuse me, it's important for you to use your discernment for what you're hearing and what you're, allowing yourself to be influenced by, because of the toxicity that's out there. There's a level of toxicity out there. So, excuse the music. I clicked on a video by mistake. Okay, so a few messages that I've been hearing over the past couple of days. Number one, it's best to keep some things to yourself right now. And I think we started off this message with that topic. It's just best to keep some things to yourself right now, because you're going through this ascension process and you're having a lot of different thoughts right now, and things are coming at you. Of course, now a train is going to come, so hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. So you're going through this ascension process and things are coming at you. Things are being highlighted to you. You're being enlightened in certain ways to things that you didn't know before. You're privy to certain things that you didn't know before, and you are seeing, like, the scales are being removed from your eyes once again, and you are seeing how certain people you felt like were for you are not really for you. So they're working through they're working or operating through spirits as well, but they may not necessarily realize it for themselves. Right now, keep that same energy is the theme of your life. It's like a double-edged sword for you. So it's like, keep that same energy. You know what I mean? For people who are, it's for you. The reason why I said it's a double-edged sword is because that you need to keep that same energy on how you are operating right now. This spirit of truth that you're in, the spirit of walking by faith that you're carrying right now. You need to keep that same energy from here on out, period. And the way that people have treated you, they need to stand on that, and they need to keep that same energy. There is no back and forth. There's no, oh, I'm sorry. There's no you going to people and highlighting how they have done you or treated you wrong, because I feel like personally, when you call people out for things that they have done, and you with the intention to get an apology from them, or to progress in the relationship, or whatever that relationship may be, whether it's a friendship, a business relationship, whatever, the family, whatever, I feel like personally, if I have to call you out about something, especially if it's bad enough, certain things you just get left behind on. I'm not going to speak up on it, because I feel like you have to have a certain level of awareness to be able to even deal with me or be connected to me in the first place. And because you have this certain level of awareness, that means you know how I am, and you know that I operate with a certain amount of integrity, honesty, and respect. And so you need to be reciprocating that energy. So if I have to speak on something that you've done and it was incorrect, then it gives you the opportunity to play in my face. And I had a conversation with a friend recently, and she was saying, well, no, maybe, sometimes the person might not necessarily know what they've done to know that, you know what I mean? So you have to speak on certain things. I'm going to say no, I disagree with that. Again, because like I said, you have to have a certain level of awareness to even be dealing with me in the first place. So keep that same energy is the theme of your life moving forward, period. Okay? There are a few other messages, but I have reached my destination, people. Let's see. Let me just see here. Oh, anybody who's crossing you right now, they should know that God is going to use them as your footstool. And that's basically the reason why you're ascending right now. You stepped up on this footstool that people have used to try to, downplay you or plant seeds of poison in your mind, or make you question who you are, or make you think that you're not correct in what you're doing or saying, or whatever experience you're having. There are people who are looking at you with glaring eyes of jealousy right now, and it is absolutely disgusting. The only thing we could do right now is pray. Of course, as usual. But pray harder. Pray for these people when you see this happening. Pray for these people. Pray for whatever they're going through, and help them to rise above whatever spirit has jumped on them to cause them to view you in this way, or try to approach you in this way, because it's kind of like a sneaky energy too. So somebody is being very sneaky around you. Okay, so that's that. And then there was one more quick message. I'm trying to get my messages out, because guys, I be in the car, okay? And the last two messages, of course, right now you're knowing you've come to a place in your journey where you know that you can't be replaced. You know what you bring to the table. You know what you add to certain situations or relationships, and you know that can't be found anywhere else. You're valuing that, and because you're valuing that, it's going to make others value that as well. They need to know if what's good for them, because if they don't, then of course, like I said, if they try to go against the grain, then God is going to use them as your footstool. And that is one of the reasons why you're leveling up and you're continuing to ascend right now, is because in the past, when it has happened, that's what the footstool was. Those people have been made your footstool, and you use that to elevate yourself. And it's going to continue to happen, because you are now more aligned with who you really truly are. And I'm so proud of you guys, So that's all I have for today. I'm going to come back and share another word, hopefully very, very soon. I am getting myself back into alignment with my rest and everything, because I've been extremely, extremely busy. I have a lot going on, but I appreciate everybody who tunes into the channel. I'm looking forward to gathering new followers and, people who align with my messages, hopefully very, very soon. I'll continue to pray on that. But in the meantime, make sure that you are checking me out on all platforms as Prophetic Day. And this has been Things You Should Consider podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. Have a great day. Bye.